this one have more drama. We apologize in advance to those that we ripped off.
Unintentionally, of course.
'Cause everything's been done. So let's try to have some fun. Because everything's been done. To our cast in their recent saga. Betrayal, robots, torture, and the destruction of a planet. But let's not forget the man on Earth stuck in a coma. 'Cause everything's been done. So let's try to have some fun. 'Cause everything's been done.
Literally nothing you haven't heard before was filmed in front of a live studio audience. I believe we've waited long enough. We should tell his family to pull the plug. But then again, I have mixed feelings about giving up. Oh my God, I don't believe what I'm seeing. Look at the heart rate monitor, he has a pulse. Quickly open his shirt. Give me the defibrillators. Where are you with the defibrillator? We're gonna lose him. Set it to 100 cc's and charge the paddles. Clear the area to avoid any incidents. Clear. 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 He's coming back. Clear.
Alive, alive, alive. I can finally open my eyes. What will I see? Who will see me? Can somebody open the blinds? I need to see the sunshine. It's been a long time since I felt its warmth coming through the window, magnifying itself for our personal comfort. A yellow object conveniently placed in a safe place for our protection. But second chances don't come around as often as you think they would, especially for someone like me, in here for interesting reasons. Selfish acts committed in youth won't go unnoticed posthumously. They won't be forgotten, they won't be forgiven. They will be remembered by all. But then again, I'm the perfect example of how not to live, of what to avoid when you grow up, kid. So hang on to what you enjoy. Don't fall victim to noise or sporadic advances from outside forces. They're what I've warned you about. One day you'll wake up and blink and be stuck in the bed next to me. You'll be drowning in debt in a hospital bed. Did I teach you as a kid how to swim? Your life preserves deflating. Debating my options, what are my choices? Will I be able to function in public places, surrounded by people, some with strange faces, some from strange places? I guess that's why we're the melting pot, with no relation to fondue stations, merely some form of a metaphor for cultural backgrounds. Some came from small towns, some own a big house. All of us different, all of us human, all of us dangerous. And that's the strangest thing that I've uncovered on this planet in my short allotted time. I got caught up in the noise, the thing I told you most to avoid, the noise. Spewing from boxes, boxes with faces, faces are talking. What are they saying? Exactly nothing worth, nothing worth repeating. I fell for the headlines, great big bold letters, incredible, brilliant misinformation. Then my family came into the room. My doctor was right there with them too. They all looked at me with a smile. I broke the ice and said, it's been a while. My doctor said, did you get my message? There were more than one, maybe several. I tried to call you before this happened. I thought they could be preventative. I told you avoid all news outlets, avoid all politics and politicians. They drive fear into unsuspecting citizens. A fearless society's the bane of our nation's existence. Well, doctor, I'm sorry to say that I miss them, though I'm glad to know that you tried to help. But second chances don't come often. My view on life has a different outlook. I can see again, I can feel again, I can hug again, I can feel love again. A word I once took for Hollywood garbage, an outdated word with dwindling meaning, something famous people say in the movies, then we're forced to replicate their actions and live up to impossible standards. Perfection of physical appearance. Our children watch it before they can function. Then we wonder why we're all so shallow. That's why I lost faith in the word love and gave up on displaying emotion. I got stuck in Groundhog Day existence. I signed the contract and became robotic. But second chances don't just happen. I'll make sure no more time is wasted. Whatever force caused me to awaken will become angry if taken for granted. Lying in bed wide awake on the second night of the second day, wondering how I got here in the first place. What was my mental state? So I paged a nurse and asked for my doctor, or I'm guessing my psychologist. Maybe he'd have the answers pertaining to my past, present, future. My questions are primarily past related. The future means nothing at this present time. The past holds the keys to the present state I'm in. A hospital bed, covered in sores, covered in blankets, blood full of drugs and antidepressants. Will my soul cover the damage for no insurance coverage? That's when my doctor walked in. We embraced with a hug, then he shook my hand. He said, before your present situation, you left us a note in the past. Here's what the note said. You fell asleep to an American dream. When you woke up, you hung a rope from the ceiling. But before you could kick out the chair, you saw someone already carved in. Brooks was here. So you had second thoughts, but it was too late. You'd rather die original than live generic. Dangling hopeless, your rope split in half. Mid-air, you thought you never should have quit the Boy Scouts, unconscious and barely clinging to life. Your rope snapped, your neck broke, your fall. You wrote down your final wish. You wish that you were going through changes again. You got in shape for a pageant. You tried Miss Universe first, but then you got disqualified. You said the judge was sexist, but he had his hands tied. He was a social justice worker. A filthy stoner leftist punk. Okay, what's the difference? We're all the same at heart. It's an object so easily broken, and yet not so easily mended, by a person breathing through a SARS mask. Oh wait, that might just be my surgeon. I told you to avoid sharp objects, and I told you to avoid the noises. These moments factored into your downfall. Glass isn't sharp unless it gets broken. Like the heart of a father who loses a son at the hands of a white kid with bullets. They said he was unmedicated. I think it was Facebook depression. It's a very scary diagnosis. Age ranges from conception to the coffin. Your life means absolutely nothing if each moment isn't documented on the internet, where you post your life stories daily, where you take one big step back and realize that your life has become one great montage of pictures with your friends and family, being watched by some mechanic being. Our pictures flood its databases. The new man-made internet deity. It makes us all feel more connected, but it really helps to create monsters, at least according to the headlines. What time is it? I can't sleep in this place. Then what do I expect? It's a low-class hospital. 6 feet of dirt between us and his remnants. The dirt's more important now than he ever was. Just another hopeless cog who would go out for a jog and get hit by a fast-moving vehicle. The driver would sue him for damaging his BMW. There's not much left to say. Please lower the casket. Complaining at every step. I'm tired of all their begging for a slight raise in their paycheck. We line their pockets with material objects. We use their tongues much like you use a weapon. We're in control of their entire existence, and a blink will impeach them and they'll suddenly vanish. I'm sick of career politicians. Too quick they get big for their britches. In days they start to complain, yet we still abstain from forgoing our old traditions and wasting our money on politicians. I think it's time for Plan B, the cyborg candidate. He needs to be a man, recently deceased. He must have lived his life with robot tendencies. The natural creature of habit, the perfect specimen. We can't bring him back to life. We have the technology. We'll build us a cyborg from the remains of a human and run him for office. He won't file complaints, he won't make demands. His foolish robot brain will be like putty in our hands. He won't be driven by money or envy or wrath or sloth. He'll lack the human condition, his mind belongs to us. But sir, are you sure that it's a good idea to mess with the dead like this? It seems very dangerous, to say the very least. Who is this fool questioning me? Exit this room at once. On second thought, stick around and I'll go to town on your face with my fist. Wow, the boss is pissed. His bad side seems worse than it used to be. His lackeys joined the slaughter of the only one with the conscience. Following the beating, they continued eating a reduction of snow leopard children. I think it was mixed with a dolphin. After they finished their feast, the maids came to clear the table. Let's go find one of our completely fair and balanced newspapers. Ah yes, my favorite pastime, reading obituaries. I love looking at the pictures and reading their tales and stories. Back in the day when I was a young man, we'd pick one person and fly to their hometown. On the day of their funeral, we'd burn their house down and leave them with nothing at all. On the flight home, we'd pick up the phone, dial their number and ask them a question relating to their fridge's condition. We knew it wasn't running, so we asked if it was burning. Why can we not find a person? The criteria is understandably specific. This one's too old, this one's a woman, this one believed in atheist religion. They lie to each voter with reckless abandon. They got on TV and still do our bidding. Politicians are born with relative ease, but those times are dying. A freshly placed body's what we need. Hey boss, I found one. Wait, false alarm, he's not quite what we're after. He seems like a real head case, addicted to antidepressants for the loss of his son. He was once a musician but gave it up for his family. He found a desk job at Walmart.
signed a contract and became robotic. Robotic, you say? Well, hey, wait a minute, don't throw his away. His body's a perfect example of corporate waste. We need to visit his grave. Okay, someone fill the jet up with the most expensive oil. Luckily we control all the nation's oil, and all of the banks too. That's another story. They take all the heat for our escapades. We have pride in spades. Hubris is merely my middle name. Actually, I don't know what my middle name is. I am just a villain in this pointless story. Actually, that's not true. I do have a real name, one you'll never believe. Politicians are bought and sold by people like me. Did you see Rubio at the debates? Did you see him smile at the camera? At the camera. Alive! Alive! Not this time. The camera zooms in on a human, sweat beating down his face. His eyes are shifting around. The camera zooms out, he's attached to machines. His whole body is bound, he has no control of his limbs. Objects enter every orifice except for his mouth. They edge to his screams, they feed on his anguish. While machines complete the process, his mind can't process his circumstances and how they have changed once asleep in a grave. That was the place where he belonged, so much happier underground. My body's been exhumed from a gravesite. Is this real love? Circumlocuting these circuits, intruding. My internal organs are bleeding internally. Severed appendages leak to the floor from the holes that were punctured with metallic objects. As cyborg-like hands are attached to my body, there's beeping and clicking from inside my head. A computer takes place of a once conscious mind. I'm living and breathing and sitting here thinking. Thoughts artificially placed in my being, now under control of the man in the curtain. I still love my job. Sir, aren't you retired? Yes, but mention my pension and I'll shove this wrench in your eye socket. We're right now in the cockpit like Tom Cruise from Top Gun. I guess I'll be Goose due to your lackluster eyesight. Speaking of sights, wheel in the mirror. Give him one last glimpse at his meager appearance. The mirror was wheeled in. It reflected my image, much like the abyss. It stared right back at me. One eye wide open, the other one drifting. The ugliest Adonis this side of the Hudson. Take one last look at your current appearance. The process has started, and soon it will finish. There's no fail-safes, passwords, or passcodes to turn you back. After we make the transition from dead to alive, from human to robot, a lovely display of our cyborg technology kept under wraps and away from the public. In several months after you adjust, you'll be running for office. The procedure is complete. Let's go see what it's like to play God. Look at my beautiful, delicate Frankenstein monster. A gorgeous concoction, a cyborg-like patchwork. Half of him human, half of him IBM. All of him ours to control. Just like the blindfolded masses, misinformation and drunk driving classes keep them intoxicated. So when they blindly pay their taxes, we say it's for roads and bridges. It actually just lines our pockets. then we fabricate the percentages. You can tell this is our best invention. Playing God clearly has its benefits. He'll make the world's best politician. No sense of want because he can't understand the concept of being human. You're the perfect faceless cog in our faceless machine, a bipartisan godsend and a pillar of humanity. If you lose, we'll have you endorse Hillary. But to be honest, our favorite host is Hannity. You need to work with both sides of the aisle, become their friend and stomach a smile. Why are there sides in the first place? The party system makes us look like the good guys. I'll let you accept all the handouts from lobbyists and corporations. My hand-selected supreme judges make sure that money is equal to free speech. As they wheeled out the mirror, I saw what they had done. I've become a monstrous abomination, but I will admit they made me handsome. Now I feel like Vader, and I do not mean the wrestler. I mean the Star Wars villain who turns into a hero. Will that be my story? Would you tell it to your children? Would you look them in the eyes and tell them to pledge allegiance to this broken financial system? I think some wires were crossed. I started to see my memories. All my eyes could see were moving pictures that reminded me of home movies. They all were just real low quality videos, but I was starting to remember what I was. Before I could focus on my thoughts, I heard the sinister man start talking. He said, we need to get our puppet on the road. We need to get the word out. Start making signs and buttons and flyers. I'll start producing our political commercial.
Hollywood called. They want their life story back. Keep it to yourself. Your thoughts are on the shelf, expiring about unemployment and the border. But the open air would rather discuss a haircut of a certain presidential candidate. But they're all slimy scumbag bits of garbage. Our options really are a douche and a turd. Like that episode of South Park. On this subject, I agree with Trey Stone and Matt Parker. Our choices are very slim for the new face of our nation. The people think their votes count, but it's really the party's decision. The lesser of two evils isn't a strong enough phrase. So why not invest some time in a brand new candidate? He's a third-party hopeful with no strings attached, a squeaky clean background with no shadowy past. He's a gorgeous human being. I think we can put our faith in his message. His message includes some basic material regarding hot-button topics and abolishing the system currently in place inside Washington, D.C. No more Senate, no more Congress. Just one man not controlled by a super PAC. He's not a robot in a suit whose lifeblood happens to be green paper. He can move this country forward with his forward thinking. Progress and progress to digress. The system is broken, but my cell phone works just fine. Hey man, where's the free Wi-Fi? So vote for me, and I'll bring peace to the Middle East. I'll clean up the border and lower our deficits. There's no difference conditioning. This is nothing personal, it's always strictly business. Said the CEO to his 1,400 employees and their families. There is no severance package, but we thank you for your service. By the way, our net worth's up to 7.6 billion. That's billion with a B. That's 1.5 billion or so up from last year. I think the CEO made like 10 million or something, but I guess that's not enough for some people. What are you gonna do? So vote for me in 2016 on November 8th, and I'll keep you safe from the perils of the noises and sporadic advances from outside forces into our fortress of solitude. But it's not really solitary, it's more like Free Cell Hearts or Minesweeper. But there's no internet, so you might wanna bring a deck of cards. And it won't be hard to vote for me, I'll change the way you think. On my first day in office, I'll remove freedom of speech, which no longer exists. Every word is offensive. Tread lightly or be stoned to death by rich white college kids and their political correctness.
I think I'm malfunctioning again.
Unless the memories are permanent, which is fine by me. I just can't let my past fade away. I also can't divulge this to my boss or he'll unplug me. Speaking of my boss, his limo's arrived. Human skin lines the inside. Whose skin is that anyway? I wonder who he killed to make the limo. Right now he's inside my brand new house. He's here with all these brand new plans about how I'll get elected to be president of these United States. He says I need a name, so he calls me generic. I look down at my barcode, that's what it spells out in binary. Do the people still have a voice? They still have a chance to decide. They never had a chance to, they never had a chance to, they never had a chance to decide. Can they see through the lies? Can they see my disguise? That I'm not even human. That I'm not even human. I'm the cyborg candidate. Everything's perfect and going as planned. The system's so broken and so out of hand. Who could oppose us? Who would dare run? All of our rivals will be thoroughly crushed by brutal and swift waves of propaganda. We'll fill mainstream news with lies and slander. And right on cue, an opponent has entered the field. He's a small town man with no party affiliation. This is such a rare occasion. He completely avoids our threats and avoids our cash advances. I'd like to know what his stance is on campaign finance. He's a stalwart figure and a threat to our cause. It's time for my favorite part of politics. Take a good man and bury his name with a solid smear campaign. Call the talking heads and figureheads that we control. We'll make sure that the message spreads across the airwaves to every TV, to Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. We need to wake up our cyborg. He should be fully charged by now. Sleeping and dreaming and charging my batteries. I sleep standing up next to an outlet.
The extension cord was optional. For evil masterminds, they sure are cheap. They put too much stock in my outward appearance. They chinsed out on the internal machines. They bought this processor from a garage sale. They stole my hard drive from some kid's Xbox. My voice recognition software is worse than a yak back, but that's not even the worst part. They forgot to wipe my memory and clear out the history. So mystery solved, I know why I'm seeing my past. But how long will the images last? They're starting to get more descriptive, each one more haunting than the previous image. Memories, thoughts, and feelings escape my machine mind at Mach speed and start to cloud my vision. They periodically cloud my thought processor. I need an answer as to how did this happen. Recently deceased. Who could I talk to? I should avoid the man behind the curtain.
As he recklessly unplugged me from the outlet without ejecting the external hard drive first, he says, listen to me, Cyborg, while you were asleep. We had a new contender enter the race. We need you to go on the record against him and eliminate him.
I don't think I have what it takes to ruin the life of a stranger. Is this what it takes to be president? If that's the case, I'd like to opt out of this suspect contract, but that's a choice I no longer have. They forgot to remove my conscience, but I don't control my actions. The sinister man behind the curtain is steering me towards his own destination. Ah, yes, the mud, my favorite place to be. Rolling around with the elephants and donkeys. Two idealistically separate groups of people, yet they're controlled by the same conglomerate. They're in my pocket, like so many nickels and dimes. Somehow lobbying is considered legal. You have no idea how much money is actually in Washington. I almost forgot our new opponent that's running for office. We need to prepare our smear campaign. A smear campaign will bury his good name with a smear campaign. A smear campaign will bury him alive. If that's what it takes to get him out on the race, we'll go to great lengths. Never believe anything we say. A gay, transsexual, radical Muslim. Boil some water to heat up the button. Pick out a topic and call it a buzzword. Spread it all over every news network that we control. All that you see, what's true, what's false, that's up to me. Yet no one seems bothered by the simple question: who's in control of the news you receive? I'm bleeding out of my ears. Wait, it's just oil from my man hair's disease. Their smear campaign sounds so true. I no longer know what to believe. I hope they tone down their message. I wonder if they'll cancel commercials. But who am I kidding? They don't feel pity, remorse, or empathy. To any living being, to any breathing person. In fact, I overheard they're dialing up the damage to their smear campaign. The smear campaign. They buried his good name with a smear campaign. A smear campaign. It's safe to say they inflicted pain with their smear campaign. A smear campaign. There's nothing like a good old-fashioned smear campaign to destroy the reputation of a nobody from Kentucky. This is the price he pays for stepping into the limelight. We made sure he got swiped right. That lousy floor flushing piece of dog meat
He could have kissed our feet. Instead, he tried to stay honest. Now I bet he regrets it. Our campaign put him in danger. Hey, look, there's breaking news. Pick any of our channels. They seem to have live footage of our opponent's humble home. They're right outside his door. All of them have pitchforks and brand new smartphones. What could they be plotting? What could they be thinking? Wait, don't change the channel, turn up the volume. They're breaking down his door and dragging him outside. They're filming the stoning. They're live streaming the beating of this innocent man. I love it when things go according to plan. The entire angry mob, so easily controlled and so easily offended by things this man never said. It was actually us on CNN. We said something offensive and they killed him for it. Cyborg for the debate. It's coming up soon. We have access to all the questions because we ask them anyway. Anyway, let's get ready.
Make it stop. I'm going through the motions again and again, where I always get this image that's stuck in my head. It's the one of the heart that's no longer red, but it's twisted robotic instead. Oh, instead. Oh dear God, I'm going through the motions and then I just pause. Look back at the damage and consider the cost of lives we destroyed on our way to the top of the ladder. We treated each person like rungs, but people aren't steps or a means to an end. All human beings have some type of purpose. They search hard to find it, this fleeting existence, the delicate balance between good and evil, fought inside our beings at all given times. The endless distraction of right and wrong choices, each day's a debate that could alter the courses of one person's comfort and another one's broken. Hearts that were wounded by Facebook depression, repeated offenses, a never learned lesson. I still fail to sleep 'cause I know what we're doing is wrong. By most people's standards, the people that matter and the people that don't. The people that don't probably don't own a phone. If you're not on your cell phone at all times in public, you might as well cease to exist to the general population, consisting of wolves in sheep clothing who have no self-loathing except for when someone sees through their disguises. Hidden by makeup, hidden by clothing, covered in labels to come off less boring. High self-importance, high affluenza, we all should be roundhouse kicked by Chuck Norris. The internet era, full of achievements, unlocked with no effort, we can't all be winners. This is what happens when losers get trophies. You tell them while young that the world is their oyster, then they grow up and become the poster child for dreamers. The one thing I miss about being human is sleeping in. I think that I'm dreaming. Where is our cyborg? Where is our robot? action. We need to locate him, we need to get him dressed. It's time for the debate, it's time to take the stage. Oh, you simpleton. I know you can handle this. When you get to the stage, just walk over to your podium. Don't worry about the questions, worry about the answers. They'll be on the teleprompter, waiting for you to read them. All of our opponents are already so hopeless. We control their words and voices. Every answer that they offer first must go through us. We'll make them seem so weak that no voter couldn't trust. All the independents will be listening to you. Try your best to not look at the camera while it's on you, cause your cyborg skin is so thin it's reflecting off the lens flare. Sick of this, ruining more lives. I'm not cut out for politics. The moderator looks and asks us if we're ready. The man behind the camera says 1, 2, 3, action. Welcome to CNN's presentation of the last debate before the 2016 election. Our puppets ask the questions and our puppets give the answers. We always give suggestions, do not smile at the camera. Rubio got buried by his own generic speeches. If you get real close and look at him, you'll probably see the leeches. Democrats, meanwhile, always talk about the wealth gap. 1% and 99 completely pointless numbers. I bet the Clinton's bank account will likely make you vomit. Wall Street and big business are among recent deposits. Repeat your pre-made speeches and provide a little humor. Preach about the struggles that you've never even been through. Listen to our newest pawn, he hasn't failed a question. His teleprompter's working, his opponent's clearly isn't. A vote for him's a vote for us, the best decision ever. Our brand new campaign slogan, we should change it in November. We promise you he's kosher, though he's never met a rabbi. Everything he says is true, but here's one more perspective.
I'm sweating out these answers because the teleprompter's broken. Someone in the crowd yells that I wish that you had canceled. I'm sitting here in silence while their candidate keeps talking. Wondering and waiting, is the timer even ticking? Moderators stare at me and start to ask a question. Every answer's perfect, I can offer no rebuttal. How can I deny his words or offer new opinions? My suit's attention strings that help protect my neck from swinging. Don't forget to bring up all the courage of the soldiers. They get set them in boxes so that we can stay in power. We send them off to die against the monsters we've created. Then bury them in coffins that get voted on in Congress. The ones that make it out alive are actually unlucky. They sit in line for healthcare while the Senate gets free dental. By the time the doctors call them up and make appointments, we siphon all the VA's funds directly to our wallets.
Commence the election.
becoming attraction. I love watching the slugs line up at the polls, place their votes, put their hopes in someone we control. Blind faith for the party they trust, blind rage towards the party they hate. Keep them divided, make sure they're blinded. No politician can ever protect them from two guarantees waiting for every American.
You will get your identity stolen. You will get T-boned by a teenager texting. They found his phone and also his last message. An acronym was his final sentence. OMG, LOL, and WTF. You died so that he could send 9 more letters to his social media accounts, mobile devices. His Twitter had no followers, his Facebook had no likes. Oh, and the channel changes, and everything stays the same. There's one more guarantee waiting for every single person in the civilized world. You will be threatened by suicide bombers who dies for a book while their boss relaxes and rakes in billions of dollars. Also, they can watch 8-year-old kids ride camels in deserts as we watch Big Bang Theory from our couches as Campbell's soup cans laughs for the masses. What does that say about us as people unable to laugh without laugh track assistance? And the channel changes and everything stays the same. And the channel changes and the channel changes and we're so afraid of change.
We have the votes of the young and the old. The unregistered meek shall inherit the cold. Not that we need them, the process is rigged. The ballots are blank, it's all predetermined. We want all the caucuses. I still don't know what a caucus is. We want every state, we want every province. We blackmail every one of the superdelegates. This convoluted system. Who else did we miss? I bet even the millennials will listen.
Every new hashtag should raise a red flag about the deterioration of democracy, yet we fund the morons that disturb the rallies and spit on the First Amendment as protesters film the violence with smartphones bought by their parents. It's man-made evolution, it's a brand new appendage, so get a job and get robotic. Then you'll understand how little interest that you have in rallies, disturbing every peaceful assembly. It's only 5 days a week. You'll learn to value your free time. The election's already a done deal. Don't lose any more sleep thinking that you have a voice in the process. They blame all the police and they blame institutions. They're scared of real questions, more scared of the answers. It's the people involved. It's the human condition. It's the death of us all. It's a war of attrition. All of us bigots, all of us racist, all of us human, all of us dangerous. They fell for the noise and misinformation, the great big bold letters, the 9,000 stations. They fight for their gender, they fight for their color. They're too blind to realize that no lives matter.
And that's the strangest thing that I've uncovered on this planet in my endless allotted time. People so fearful of how they appear to others, so easily manipulated through fear and hate. My favorite emotional progression. Give them a faraway enemy to fear, whether it's the Nazis, Russians, or Muslims. One thing we've proven over the years is that a common enemy is a priceless commodity. We're bound together by the fear of a ghost, and aligned forever by the things we hate most. This sounds pretty clever, I should put it in our speech. Now we just need to hire new writers. Well, they have original ideas.
And if I see one more show about a hospital drama, I slit my wrist and end up in the trauma ward of a hospital drama for eternity. Oh God, it's the worst kind of purgatory. And Shakespeare wrote every story worth reading. Bowie wrote every song worth hearing. So good luck to future generations, completely deprived of original content, out of unique thoughts, clinging to the scraps of those that came before them. This is a warning that I saw in a dream, a comatose state, a Plutonian odyssey. Everything witnessed at one point felt real. Then I awoke, too quickly I perished. No chance to warn everyone that I knew. Too late to prevent the production of robots, unable to must stop the spreading of opinionitis to all men, women, and children. These are the times that I hated the most, feeling so helpless and feeling so lost. Finally offered a chance to contribute, only to die and become this man's puppet. My conscience again took a turn for the worse. How long do I have till my microchips burst? The internal guilt will probably kill me, but first, I must warn all the people, music was never a legitimate profession, it was merely another option. One more step towards a break from monotony, but how long until you get sick of the songs? Now I'm the cyborg candidate, the president-elect of these United States. I'm stuck on this path towards the Oval Office. There's only one way out, and these vagabond shoes are coming my way. These vagabond shoes are coming my way. And these vagabond shoes are coming my way. Pick out a suit, make sure it fits over his skin, cover him up. Wires in back are now exposed. Cut me some slack. Only his face is what they should see as they applaud their new president. We need to film his inaugural speech up on the stage where so many puppets of ours who came before him have given their oath to protect the people. Ah yes, inaugural speeches. They're my favorite bedtime story. Voters fill their pockets with hope and promises. We keep them coming back with microtransactions. The political process is life for these people. It's merely a cell phone game to us. Something we do in our spare time. Then we watch it unravel on big screens. A simple game of checkers against a rival corporation. The masters of mankind is a term of endearment for us. I think it's a little dramatic, but who am I to judge? We've turned you all into consumers, waiting in line for the next big thing. Please keep on working, please keep on buying, we'll keep on selling the products of your dreams. I think it's time to read them our speech. The public is waiting. Don't keep them waiting. You've surpassed our expectations. You've become too big to fail. There's a doctor performing surgery, a C-section in Section C. He's causing a scene and disrupting my inaugural speech. A boy or a girl, I can't really see. There's blood from my guard on the bulletproof glass. The mother is probably a teen. She has a bright future on MTV. Oh, she has a bright future on MTV. But the kid will be just another debt-ridden train wreck as he tries to keep up with the Joneses. They're in much better shape than him from their virtual reality headsets. His His neighbors are the rich kids of Beverly Hills, and he cooks for them on the weekends. He slipped in a handful of cyanide pills. Now he's spending his life in prison. The governor granted him a pardon. He received the hero's welcome. From the talentless people judge people with talent. This country could use a serious wake-up call. Hillary's on the other line. Well, I guess you get what you wish for. She reminds me of Meryl Streep from the Manchurian Candidate. The one where Liev Schreiber gets mind-controlled by the company owned by Meryl Streep. Oh, the company owned by Meryl Streep. I feel bad for people who value opinions of the rich and the famous celebrities, hypothetically fleeing the country in droves if their candidate loses the race. So get out, stay out. Your pointless agendas are falling on deaf ears. You're worth more than half of the nation combined. You most likely won't be welcome anywhere else but Hollywood. So please keep reading your script. The powers that be sign your paycheck. There used to be a sense of things will get better, but those dreams were buried under mountains of debt. If you shovel the money, you'll find what you did not expect. A welfare state controlled by another bank is begging for a bailout from the struggling worker to make ends meet. We're one bailout away from re-entering the Middle Ages. The next bailout will likely be the last. Oh, the next bailout will likely be the last.
I've become cognizant. I've redeveloped common sense. I can no longer bear this guilt. It's time to go off the script.
They think more gun laws will stop shootings at malls, but it's all just an inside job. We killed each other just fine before the invention of firearms. But the NRA has the final say in the fate of our Second Amendment. Another corporation controls our very existence. But hey, at least no one I know has been killed by a brainwashed government zombie. Consider our friends at CNN. They'd be collecting unemployment checks without the assistance of 24/7 coverage of every single shooting. But in their defense, it makes for very gripping television. The only difference between us and the Romans is we have mass shootings and they had live violence. But then again, just turn on the news. I guess nothing ever changes.
Get down to brass tacks, we'd better call Saul to clean up this mess. Inaugural speeches, controversial words. I've gone off the script. These words must be heard and spread to the people all over the earth. Every country, every city, every continent. Your future is at stake. Your savings in the bank. They're halting the withdrawals. Deposits will be stalled. Your pensions are in trouble. The gross domestic product has nearly hit rock bottom. Another long recession. Collapse, rebuild, depression. The death of the gold standard. The end of paper money. All things now bought on credit. The masters of all mankind have reached their financial maxim. Their corporate earnings are now stuff of legend. The only thing trickling down from their penthouses will be copious tears from their excessive laughter at the expense of the masses of rabble. Even the upper class is lower class. compared to them. People, please listen, I'm trying to warn you, I'm trying to save you. My conscience conflicted, I'm all out of words to describe the pitfalls of flawed human beings trying to govern the wealthiest people. Maybe I should try something else, they're not listening to anything I say. So I reached into my pocket, pulled out a knife and made incisions all over my new face. Then I pulled the skin back, revealing the structure underneath the exoskeleton of flesh. That's when people in the audience began to notice what was going on. Then a bomb went off, the stage exploded, I was knocked unconscious. Must have passed out from the explosion. I woke up in some type of nuclear shelter on top of a hospital bed that was moving down towards the door at the end of this tunnel. Fast-paced, they kept pushing me through the hallway. I saw thousands of cyborgs that looked just like me. I was their field test, their prototype. Trial and error, they've clearly invented a much better version. My days feel numbered among all these clones. They've broken the human genome into a pattern. Strapped to a chair and eyelids take open. They force me to watch every corny, dramatic, romantic comedy, soap opera, over the top, emotional movie ever directed to try and reverse my empty, depleted, robotic lifestyle, free of emotion and full of destructive and cynical thoughts from all of the violence they put on TV. Entirely numb at this point to any human suffering. This is the end game of people in power. They strip us completely of what makes us human and turn us all into their closed caption cattle. They treat us like fodder to help fuel their nightlife. The masters of mankind, the faceless tall buildings on Wall Street, somehow control our bleak, pointless lifespans. No purpose except for to make sure the powers that be remain the powers that be. This is the outcome they bank on us, killing each other instead of dealing with actual problems. I tried to warn all the people. They made one commercial, now I'm in hot water. I'm getting dragged through Monument Park. The bloodthirsty mob wields the heaviest stones. Public opinion so easily swayed. The first stones were thrown by millennial douchebags, and that's when everything froze! Where am I? What is this place? Where am I? What is this empty space? This song's way too long. My comfort zone is no longer comforting, yet I feel safe inside this place. It feels so familiar to me. Oh, how I've missed the great dark abyss. It's warm and it's quiet except for a buzzing sound I keep hearing off in the distance. Keeps getting closer, louder, more vibrant, clear, less static. Starting to panic, surrounded by voices, electronic noises. Clear! shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. They say every man needs protection. They say every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection someplace so high above this wall. I see my light come shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Standing next to me in this lonely crowd is a man who swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him shout so loud. He's crying out